So I inadvertently got kneed in the face yesterday in using Jiu Jitsu. And one of the things that you recognize, and one of the things that I've learned, and maybe even knocked the sense into me yesterday, is that anytime I get beat up more and more in Jiu Jitsu, the better I close more deals, the more I close more sales, any number of things. So it kind of brought me back a couple months ago. I was going against one of the more beginner type of jiu-jitsu competitors, and one of the things he did was take a knee straight directly to my eye. So you can't really see it now, but yesterday got a knee to kind of the teeth right here. So it's a little bit sore and not really a fat lip, but kind of a little bit more cut on the inside. So not really physical, any physical markings of what happened. But a few months ago, I did have a black eye for probably a period of a month. It took it took a direct knee straight to the face when this happened. And one of the things, the funny thing that happened is, like, anytime I jumped on a sales call, or during that period, I had a very busy period of working with other coaches and partners, jumping on sales calls. And what I thought is, like, having a black eye was just, for me, I always kind of struggle with that small talk, especially in the early part of a sales call, which is obviously essential to kind of getting people on the same page. So I thought it was just the fact that I had a great story that I could come out and talk about with people, kind of make them feel a little bit more comfortable in those first couple of moments when they jumped on a Zoom call with me and saw that I had a completely black eye during that period. But again, kind of going through that experience yesterday kind of reminded me, one of the books I read most recently is Jim Camp's Start With No. And, in that book, he talks about how, you don't have, don't go into a sales call, don't go into a deal with any kind of neediness. Like, give give the person on the other side of the table, any reason to say at any time, like, you can say no, like, I don't need your business. I don't need you to close this deal, whatever it is, and kind of, changes the power dynamic. And I'll go through that in, the next few weeks a little bit more in detail there. But, like, one of the key insights that is kind of relevant to what I was going through is, anytime you're feeling a little bit more uncomfortable on this side, it allows that other person on the other side of the table to feel a little bit more comfortable. And that's what you're really trying to do for your market. Anybody you're facing off with a sales call is making them feel as comfortable as possible. And if you can do that by being uncomfortable on your side, that makes it more likely that you're going to close the deal, that they're going to feel some empathy towards you, feel a little bit more connection. So ultimately, that's, if I go back to that period where I had a black eye for a month, and why I was closing, more of those deals than I would usually, it's the fact that they could see on my side that, okay, everything wasn't all right, that I was kind of going through a period here of pain or anguish or whatever it is. And that unconsciously or consciously made them feel a lot more comfortable, build that connection with me, and allowed them, the opportunity to say yes to whatever deal I was talking about as well. And as I kind of go through and think about past experiences as well, like, anytime, another example would be, like, anytime I've always had kind of like young kids sick at home all the time. So I've had to, I don't have the opportunity to reschedule a sales call or reschedule a meeting. What they can see on my side is I'm, like, desperately trying to keep that sick toddler as quiet as possible. Or a lot of times I'll have that, I've had my toddler kind of like sitting on my arm, taking a nap. And on the other side, that person knows that I'm, again, I'm not doing okay. It's like they feel some empathy, they feel that connection. And in that way, it makes it more likely that they're going to say yes to that deal, to, whatever we're meeting with along the way. And again, there's any number of things. So, like, again, as you're thinking about your sales calls, especially in those high ticket type of situations, is like, how can you make that person feel as comfortable as possible? And one way of doing that is letting them know that on your side, whether you're trying to do it purposely or not, like, everything is not okay on this end of the sphere. I'm struggling a little bit. Again, you can do that purposely. You can do that unconsciously, whether you have kids at home or things like that. Like, again, if the next time you have kids at home that are sick, like, think about maybe not rescheduling some of those sales calls. Maybe if anything, you want to schedule more of those sales calls, just so people can kind of see the struggle that you're going through, that uncomfortableness. And in seeing your uncomfortableness, it's going to increase the comfort that they see on your side, increase that connection, and make it more likely that, again, they're gonna say yes to what's going on here. So again, think about that comfort dynamic. Like, how can you make them feel okay in the fact that you are kind of struggling in some way? In that, you can do that purposely, you can do that unconsciously as well, just based on your situation. but keep that in mind. That doesn't mean go out there and like me, kind of go out there and join a jiu-jitsu competition and try and get get a black eye or lose some teeth or those kind of things. But those ultimately can be some great stories as you jump on sales calls, try to close deals, all those kind of things. Can help with the small talk, but also just making that person feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, okay, like I'm not going through what you're going through right now. So like, I feel a little bit better about myself, and makes it more likely that they're going to say yes to whatever you're proposing going forward. So I hope that was helpful.